Hey guys, today we're back in the 2022 BMW iX. I've been driving this all week. I wanted to give you guys some thoughts and impressions on what it's been like to live with. We already filmed a POV night drive giving you some first impressions on what this is like to drive. First, some numbers. 516 horsepower, dual motor, all-wheel drive, goes about 324 miles on a full charge. It's fast, it's efficient, it's very quiet. This is just one of the quietest EVs I've ever driven. Might be one of the nicest to drive, honestly. I have really enjoyed getting behind the wheel of this week. We have these massive 22-inch wheels wrapped in Bridgestone Alenza tires, 275/40 R22. Pretty okay with the rear end design. Side profile looks good. It's kind of almost a coupe-like looking SUV. Front end looks like a beaver, only a face that a mother could love. But there are some cool features up here. So we have, under the BMW roundel, a place to fill our wiper washer fluid. You don't have to open up the hood. This doesn't have a frunk, by the way. And then in this Bavarian Beaver grille, we get a lot of safety system sensors. And you can see there are just some little mini heating elements in here that keep those from being covered in ice and snow while you're driving. Another neat feature is this is a self-healing polyurethane material. If it gets scratched, it'll self-heal to a limit at daytime temperatures, which is pretty neat. All right, BMW laser headlamps, they work great at night. See the night drive for those. I actually like the way the rear end looks. It's pretty sharp, nice taillights. Let's check out this interior, because I think this is really where this new iX shines. First thing you notice is the steering wheel. Second thing you notice are these seats, just almost like a couch-like design. They're very comfortable. You get a lot of adjustability. The materials in here are really special. I love the use of this cloth, the fabric, the Alcantara suede inserts, and the way it's all designed and packaged and put together just really gives this an open, minimalist vibe, and it actually really works well. I love the way this looks. Look at this door panel. And then you have this carbon composite tub or frame, saves some weight. This is about 5,660 pounds, so not light, but also not terribly heavy for an electric SUV. I'll top inside, start it up, and show you these screens. So the steering wheel is pretty wild. Feels a lot like a C8 Corvette steering wheel, honestly. Similar shape. I quite like it. It has a really nice feel to it, and the steering in this iX is excellent once you get behind the wheel and take it out on the road. We have these crystal buttons here. These seat controls really only adjust your backrest forward and backward and your kind of cushion height. But if you want more detail, you can press this button right there. It'll take you into the seating menu, and you can adjust seat depth and angle and position, height, and lumbar, and of course save all those to one of your 2 memory settings, which is nice. You get a climate menu, much like we saw in the BMW i4 that we drove a few weeks ago. It's a little bit of a mishmash, kind of confusing to passengers on first impressions, but a lot of the stuff you can kind of set and forget. And I guess I can do without physical buttons in this interior just because it looks so cool. So I will say, whatever menu you're in, whether you're in CarPlay or what have you, you hit the climate menu button and it pops up, and you hit it again, it'll return to wherever you've been. So that's nice. There's a home icon, all of these quick access screens here, which is neat. You can rearrange these to however you want. And then if you want to go into some more detail, you can hit the menu button, and then all of your BMW apps are right here. One thing I'm not crazy about in this iX is that BMW has changed around the configuration of some of these buttons. If you're used to the traditional iDrive, your muscle memory set with that, let's say you have another BMW in the garage, you're gonna have to completely relearn where the back button is, where the home button is, and this crystal shifter looks cool, but there's just a little bit too much resistance to some of the inputs, like the up, down, right, left. You do get used to it though. There are some quick access buttons down here for raising the air suspension for a little bit more off-road ground clearance. Doesn't go up too much, maybe an inch or so, but it's something. There's also a button here for your driving assistance systems. You can turn on lane departure warning, or turn it off. Turn on your iconic sounds, or turn those off. We'll play around with that a little bit on the drive. There's also a few different drive modes: personal, sport, and efficient. You go into sport, you can change different settings like your drivetrain, steering, damping, different driving dynamics, which I think is pretty cool. We have a glove box that's pretty well integrated and hidden in the dashboard here. A very open front center console area. This is all stationary. Wireless charging, a couple USB-C ports, a nice little clever spot to put your phone here too if you want. Crystal shifter, lots of reverse camera options and configurations. You can have a car wash view, a 3D view, scroll around your BMW iX. Didn't even have to do the walk around outside the car today. Could just stayed in here. All clever stuff. Here's your center console, pretty spacious. And then you get this electrochromic roof. Check this out. Now you see it, now you don't. Now you see it, now you don't. There's the tree, and now the tree's gone. I could play with that all day. Very cool tech, and a massive panoramic sunroof in this iX. You also get quick controls here for your cockpit brightness at night, and reading light, ambient light. You can quickly turn all that on and off, which I think is great. And again, you press these buttons again, and it returns to wherever you were looking at before. So, very cool. Very minimalist, simple steering wheel controls here too. You can change content, head-up display. That's great. Well done, BMW. You don't have to go deep into a menu to control your head-up display. You just press that settings button. You can access your music here, phone, talk to BMW, adjust your volume. You do get this kind of volume scroll crystal down here too, which is neat. Let's show you guys the back seat. Oh yeah, we get a door button, and the car will turn off if you're in park and you open the door. So you don't have to press the stop start button. There is a redundant lever down here if you ever need it. Let's take a look at the back seat. Super, super spacious back here. Just a ton of room. I love it. Plenty of legroom, a couple USB ports, a little porthole to annoy your front seat passengers, rear climate control, and again, just an excellent use of materials back here in this iX. Nice view with the panoramic sunroof too. Just what a cool looking interior. I think this is the innovation that I want to see going forward with EVs. Really impressed with this iX so far. Let's walk you back, open the tailgate, show you what type of trunk space we have, and then I think we'll just take this for a drive. Not as spacious of a rear trunk area as I was hoping for, honestly, but it gets the job done. We've got a little bit more storage underneath here, but again, the packaging of EVs warrants a little bit higher floor height, and with the carbon tub and everything, it seems like this trunk is a little bit narrower too. You get a couple of lights here for when you open up the rear hatch if you're on the side of the road, and calling BMW roadside assistance. People can still see that you are a vehicle. All right, guys, well, there's a quick walk around of the BMW iX. Let's hop in, take this for a drive, and talk a little bit about what it's like on the road. Super easy ingress and egress too with this iX. Neat. Oh, and then another feature that I like. Check this out. So pay attention to this iX on the screen. Turn signals. Doors. And then when we start moving, look at the wheels. Look at the steering wheel. That tire is turning. And then we come to a stop, the wheels stop moving. That's fun. Okay, let's go for a drive. So we have a couple of different drive modes that we discussed on our night drive and first impressions video. But basically, you can either drive this in regenerative braking mode, which is what I have it set to right now, or just normal drive where it will creep forward when you let off the brake. It's unbelievably quiet. There's virtually no road noise on smooth pavement. I think this is one of the quietest cars I've ever driven. It's pretty amazing. That is a highlight to this BMW iX. Regenerative braking has pretty good strength too, coming down from speed. And it's pretty quick. I wish the speedometer updated a little bit quicker. That's one of my few complaints. Let's go into sport. Have a little bit of fun. This is a BMW after all. Ride quality, excellent. NVH, really class leading. This is an $83,000 electric SUV. As spec'd, it's got about 20 grand in options, so it's about $104,000. For that price, you're getting a lot of car. Compare this to a Tesla Model X. I drove a 2019 Model X a few weeks ago. That felt like a tin can compared to this thing. This is a really, really well-built SUV. You can definitely tell there are some cost-cutting measures below the belt line in the interior with some plastics and other things, but from behind the wheel, this feels like a bargain at 100 grand. It drives better than some just really other high-end BMW products that I've been in. And it's electric, and it's super comfortable, and it's quiet. Yeah, pretty cool. Just for fun, let's turn on our iconic sounds. Kind of a neat noise, but honestly the silence behind the wheel of this iX is so impressive that I've chosen mostly to leave them turned off this week. So another neat feature we have with this iX is if you're in normal drive, not in regenerative braking mode, it has adaptive regen. So if it senses a car in front of you, it will adjust the regen automatically to slow down and match that car's speed. So it's kind of like an in-between adaptive cruise control. It's on all the time. You can disable that in the menus, but it's a little bit weird because of the inconsistency that it provides off throttle. You're either going to coast forever off throttle, or it's going to slow down according to whatever the vehicle in front of you is doing. So kind of takes some getting used to. In the real world, in practice, I think once you adjust to it, it's nice, but again, kind of a strange thing to wrap your head around occasionally when it does some things that you don't quite expect. So for the most part this week, I've just been driving this in B mode, and I love it. So right now, I'm off throttle. You can see the adaptive regen meter changing as the vehicle in front of us slows down. Regen will bring us to a complete stop in this iX, which is cool. And it's pretty strong too. Let's turn off our iconic sounds and let's go into efficient. This is a nice quiet drive mode. Go back to home. I like that there's a quick access for CarPlay too. That's nice. Tons of power in this thing too. The acceleration it's nothing special in the EV world, but the delivery is very smooth. Unlike the i4 that we drove a few weeks ago, that was like just a jackhammer. Whatever you did with your right foot, it was instant to respond with just a little bit of a delay, but it was almost too aggressive, it was too sharp. BMW has dulled down the throttle response in this iX, and it's actually very nice to use and to live with. Definitely prefer it to the tuning in the i4. Visibility is really excellent in this. I can see pretty well out of my rear view mirror. Side mirror visibility is great. This window and low door frame looks really good too from the driver's seat. Yep. Let's hop on the highway and test out our driving assistance systems. We did this a little bit during the night drive. This cruise control button is super simple. You just turn it on, select whether you want distance control or assisted driving mode, and then I like how they give you a physical control for your speed adjustment. So you can skip 5 miles an hour with a double press or 1 mile an hour with a single press of this little toggle switch here. So easy, works great. You can enable or disable your cruise control with a quick press of the button there. It'll resume to whatever speed you set it previously. Very nice. Over some larger impacts, there's a little bit of wallowiness with the suspension. The wheels do jump around a little bit on the pavement, but for the most part, the ride quality, the suspension tuning is excellent for what this is. For an SUV, it handles great, it feels awesome. It's actually pretty fun to pilot around the corners. You feel that low center of gravity in this iX. This is, after all, a ground-up EV platform, and it shows. It's just a lot more refined than what we had in the i4. The power distribution is better too, doesn't feel as front-wheel driven. Yeah, just very nice to drive. All right, so we'll resume cruise control here. And let's put us in assisted driving mode. Steering seems to do a pretty good job. It does prompt you to keep your hands on the wheel every 5 seconds or so, and all you pretty much need to do is just rest your hand. It'll sense that your hand is wrapped around the steering wheel, and that's pretty much enough to satisfy it. Shockingly quiet at highway speeds. Probably a little bit difficult to get the idea of what this is like at highway speeds through YouTube, through whatever you're listening on. If you're listening with headphones, that helps. But I think the last thing we need to do is showcase this Bowers & Wilkins sound system. So while we're cruising here on the highway, let's go into our sound test playlist, play our standard track, and then there's also a Bowers & Wilkins experience, which is pretty cool. We'll show you guys that when we park. So, music. Here we go. sounds amazing. This is next level stuff from BMW and Bowers and Wilkins. One of the best sound systems I think we've tested this year. Again, I'm not an audiophile. I don't know all the details that some others who test audio systems know, but to my untrained ear, this is fantastic. So there's also a cool feature where you can set the level of seat vibration that you experience under heavy bass. That's neat. Let's go into this media menu and do this sound experience. Headphones recommended. Cool, just a neat way to kind of showcase the sound system. Honestly, I was a little bit more impressed with the sound quality comparing our usual test track to some other cars. Seems like our quality might be a little bit higher with the source file, who knows. Anyway, there you guys go, sound system test in the BMW iX. I think that's gonna wrap up this video. Highlights here are, love this interior design. It's just such a cool car to get into and experience. It really does feel futuristic and innovative. Really the only con that I can come up with this iX is it would be nice to have a few more physical controls, but you do get used to this new iDrive system after some time. And the front end is just so ugly, but I think people are just gonna end up getting used to it over time anyway, and it's not going anywhere. BMW is choosing to put these designs out. Some cars they're making look good, some cars they're making look bad. At least there's some differentiation in their model lineup and they don't all look the same, which I will give BMW credit for. They're playing and they're pushing the envelope and they're kind of testing to see what people are able to stomach. So anyway, guys, that's a wrap for this one. Really impressed with this iX this week. I think this is one of my favorite EVs that I've ever driven. Highlights are just the interior design here, the quietness of this driving experience, the smoothness, the luxuriousness of everything is really top level. This is a vehicle to experience that it feels very special. Now, I haven't driven all of the luxury EVs out on the market. I haven't driven the e-tron. I haven't driven the Mercedes EQS yet, but I've been very impressed with this iX. Okay, that'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.